Hello guys, welcome to TurboTough. Today we are trying a brand new game. And not only trying, but I'm going to tell you how you should approach it in order for you to enjoy it and actually get your money's worth when you try it. This is hashtag Drive Rally in all caps. We're going to call it Drive Rally for simplicity. And it's a brand new indie rally game that released today, actually, when I'm recording this video. As you may know, if you've been here for a while, I am familiar with Art of Rally. I helped with the translation of that game to the Latin American language, and when I saw this game, I thought, hey, it probably shares many similarities with Art of Rally. My first impression was this image of the 4 developers of the game. That's pretty cool, actually getting to see their faces. It feels a bit more personal. And I saw that this game had wheel support, so I connected my T300 and went into my first stage. And sadly, this was my first contact with the game.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Yeah, not very positive. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact how your brakes basically stop the car immediately. There was almost no inertia, and the difference between terrain, between gravel, between snow, and between tarmac was almost too. I'm not going to say realistic, actually, the whole opposite of it. It was too dramatic. Hence, I went into Steam and I almost hit the refund button. But I thought, wait, maybe well, not maybe. I'm definitely approaching this game wrong because I love the aesthetics. The soundtrack feels good. I mean, it may be generic for some of you, but I enjoy that type of music. And the co-drivers, I don't know if you've seen these memes on Instagram of 2 cats telling bad jokes to each other and then one throws a punch into the other. Well, if you enjoy those type of memes, you're definitely going to get along with the co-drivers in the game. They're a bit cheesy. That's a way to describe them, but I like them overall. Some more than others. I'm going to talk that in a later moment. But I restarted my PC and went ahead and basically went full throttle. And that's the thing. If you approach this game as you would approach Art of Rally, a probably old school rally, and well, Dirt Rally 2.0 or RBR, you're screwed. You're screwed because this is an arcade game. And of course, I saw in the reviews that this was, as a matter of fact, an arcade game. And I didn't have a problem with that. Or well, my mind, when reading it, didn't have much trouble with it. The game is supposed to be more accessible. The thing is, that element of being more accessible, of not needing to brake in most of the corners, was just way too much for me at the beginning. It took me like a good 5 or 6 rounds up until I actually got the hang of it and started to enjoy the game. The environments are pretty cool. At release, you get 6 different environments, free roam environments, and I believe just 4 of them equate to 400 kilometers of roads, of drivable roads in total. That number should have probably increased with the addition of Mexico and Japan as new scenarios for you to drive in. And not only that, there is actually quite a great variety of not only terrain, but layout and scenery. It's pretty cool. You're actually getting immersed if you are able to use some of your imagination. Is the game perfect? No, by any means it isn't. But I don't think it's supposed to be. It's an indie game, and it actually performs pretty well for an indie game. And once you're able to accept that it's not going to handle a sim, it's not going to be, let's say, a realistic driving simulation. One funny thing is that co-driver nodes go from 1 to 3, but they feel more akin to the original Richard Burns Rally, where it's just an open corner, a tight corner, and a sharp corner, and you can actually go flat out through 2 of them. But that's fun. That's fun. Once you're able to find your ideal car, your ideal co-driver. For me, it's the Indonesian guy. I don't know his name. I suppose he's Indonesian because that's Southeast Asia and it looks a lot like Indonesia. Well, once I got into him and this little Eclipse, I think it's an Eclipse or a 3000 GT Mitsubishi, I had a lot of fun. The AI is unbalanced. At Germany and at USA, they're extremely fast, while in Japan and in Southeast Asia, they're really slow. But that shouldn't represent too much trouble for you. You have to enjoy the game for what it is. It's an arcade experience where you can literally shut off your brain for an hour or two and have fun. Another good thing I noticed is that there's a party mode, which is basically not a split screen, but you take turn with your friends for driving through the stages, and that's so cool. That's cool. That's a new idea. I haven't seen that before in a rally game, and I think I'm going to use it with my friends. The thing is, whenever I bring a friend over and I put them in iRacing, they cry, and when I put them in Dirt Rally 2.0, they also cry. And when they go into Richard Burns Rally, well, you get the idea by now. I think this game, of course, it's more accessible, but you're able to take a hairpin full throttle almost, and that's not a bad thing. Once again, that's not a bad thing. I think that should be a big disclaimer because some of the recent reviews of the game in Steam actually have this viewpoint where it should behave like an art rally when it's a completely different experience. And the way to enjoy it is just, once again, as I told you before, shut off your brain and just drive. The game is much better with a keyboard. Actually, there's a bit of a dead zone with the wheel. Maybe they'll patch that up in future updates. But for now, it's a pretty cool game for less than what? $20, I think. It's a pretty good bang for buck. And that's it. I'm going to play it for a while. I'm glad I didn't refund the game, and I suggest you give it a try. It's pretty fun. Once again, you may not get along with the co-drivers. It's more of a personal preference thing. They say some lines that leave you a bit weirded out, but I mean, that's part of the charm of the game. If you're going to cringe at that, then don't buy it. But if you're going to have some giggles with it, then definitely go ahead and give it a shot. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more sim racing content, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Right 3. Left square. Right 2. Left square. Left 2.